welcome back to Out of Spec Reviews. I have the Ioniq guy here, the Ioniq guy.
With my brand new 2025 Ioniq 5 Limited.
Whoa, brand new, which means one of the first cars delivered with NACS. A lot of people have said the first car, but technically like two people own Gravities, right?
There you go.
So the Gravity, but other than the Gravity, the Ioniq 5, the 2025 model is a big update. The first mainstream car with NACS, which means the first thing we did is drive over to a Tesla Supercharger. Now, technically, this is a magic dock, but it's going to work the same way. It's the same effective thing. And so we are going to do a comparison. This is a race, for lack of a better term. And I genuinely don't know the outcome, Corbin, because, well, I guess let's back up. You're here from Boston area?
Yeah.
And to fly out to Colorado to get an Ioniq 5 because
they didn't have them in the Northeast.
Right. So
Stevenson in Colorado was the first to get a all-wheel drive that I know of.
Right. So biggest shout out to Stevenson for hooking you up with this.
Yeah.
And also shout out to Crossroads Hyundai, who has been helping us with this as well. And we're about to film an SEL versus your Limited here in another video. But in this video, focusing on the charging performance. Ioniq 5 2025 has had a few updates, but we'll get into all that. First of all, this is a 10 to 80 race. That's the industry standard of how fast is your 10 to 80 time.
Yeah.
This will be interesting because I am going to be ripping full speed on a V3 supercharger, but I don't have the best charging curve. That's not a secret. Teslas don't have the best charging curve. One of the big selling points of the eGMP vehicles from the South Koreans is that their charging is a monster. And you have now a slightly bigger battery and yada, yada, yada. We are going to use this though on a Tesla Supercharger, which is not optimized for these high voltage cars. That being said, yours should still charge better than last generation Ioniq 5 and the EV6 before it.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious because even though you'll peak in theory at what, 120, 130?
125, 130.
Yeah, we'll find out the peak speed that you'll get. We have our batteries at a perfect temperature right now. And so you peak much lower than my peak of 250, but you hold your peak.
Yeah.
Mine drops precipitously. So I'm really curious how long this will take. This is not a representative 10 to 80 for the Ioniq 5 at its peak capacity.
Please don't let it be representative.
because you could go over to EA and just destroy me at a 10 to 80. But it'll be really interesting to see if you could actually ride your curve and eventually level out and beat mine out.
I think it's going to hold it all the way to 80%.
I can't wait to see. So we're gonna get these charged, plugged in, and we'll see what happens. Here's the nice interior. By the way, glass roof is lovely. The light colors are lovely. So we both got our climate rip in here really quick just to dip from the last. We're literally like the very edge of 11%. So we're gonna dip it down to 10% this way. And I guess battery size, yours is what, 84 kilowatt hours now, gross?
Yeah, it's 84 gross, probably 81 usable.
Okay, and so mine's 82, so it is a tiny bit. Yours used to be a little bit smaller, now it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, it's pretty comparable to you though.
Yeah, so we will see. We're gonna measure a few things, how much energy is delivered, but also how much time.
Does the Tesla app tell you how much energy is delivered?
The car does.
Okay.
So we'll just keep checking on both cars.
Okay.
But just have climate loads on right now. And once again, we checked on, I guess you can show your app on your phone, just how we've been able to, and how we'll be able to monitor all the data.
Yeah, I've got car scanner through an OBD2 dongle. For the Ioniq 5, your battery min needs to be at least 70 degrees Fahrenheit to get full charging power. Now that is on an 800 volt charger trying to pull 260 kilowatts.
Right.
So here, I would guess if we were even at probably like 60 degrees, we'd probably still pull full 130 kilowatts.
Yeah, so your temperatures won't be quite as critical as mine trying to hit that peak little bit of a level of 250, because mine will peak at 250. Great, cool, big number. And then it drops off really quickly. So the strategy that we use also, on road trips, for example, I just had basically this exact car on the I-90 Surge. Y'all might remember Corbin from the I-90 Surge in Team Ioniq, of course, but that was an Ioniq 6.
Yeah.
Either way, similar principle. What state of charge were you guys trying to pull in at?
Usually 5% or lower.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a few times we were 5 miles past zero.
But the perk of these cars is that you don't have to do that to get your speeds.
No.
Like ours, if we didn't pull in below like 10, we were kind of like, what are we doing? Because we're not going to really see our peak. Whereas you could plug in at 20 and probably still get great speeds.
Yeah, assuming the battery was warm.
Right. So that's the trick too. Preconditioning wise, my car can precondition down to pretty much 1 or 2%. What's the preconditioning logic on this thing?
Well, it seems to be improved versus outgoing Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 6, which have a 17% cutoff. I just ran it down at 13% state of charge, but then it turned off because the battery hit 70 degrees. So it's possible that it does go down to 10% or lower, which is really good to see. That needed to be changed for this new model year.
Yeah, I have no idea why they cut that off before, but man, we are so close. All right, as soon as it hits 10, we'll plug in. All right, Corbin just hit 10%. Go ahead and shut off all loads.
Okay.
I will do the same. I am so close. Oh my gosh. Feels really nice and toasty in here. It's a cold day outside in Colorado.
You know, down in Frederick, it was like in the high 40s.
Dang, that's warm.
Is this higher elevation up here?
No, this is high 30s. This is about the same elevation though. It's just the mercy of the winds. But this is your first time in Colorado, right?
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
All right, so mine still technically says 11, but it's showing 10.8. And Corbin's also dips from right below 11. So this is when we pretty much will plug in. Now, Corbin's going through the Tesla app because that's how you would activate a non-Tesla vehicle on a Tesla Supercharger.
So I should plug in first, right?
And just barely reaches. That's one of the challenges and the biggest thing. Me and Colton have posted photos of this new one on Twitter, X, whatever you call it. And that's the number one comment is, why did they keep it on the passenger side?
Yeah, I interviewed their senior product manager at the LA Auto Show.
Yep.
And he said they kind of thought about it, but they ultimately just decided it was cheaper just to leave it here.
That's true. But isn't the new Kia going to the other side? Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's built into a plastic shroud where here
Right.
it's built into the metal body panel, so they'd have to get new tooling
Right.
for stamping and everything.
That is different, yeah. So how's this process looking? Are you?
So I'm just going to click 1D. I guess you should get ready.
Yep, I'm ready.
I set the car to say start charging when it's actually charging.
Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna plug in too, and let's go for it. Comparing handshakes.
Undock a death.
Mine's
Oh, wait,
green.
hold on a second. Oh, wait, there it goes.
Oh, it's going.
It thought
Wow. So your handshake was like only 1 or 2 seconds
Yeah, that was quick.
longer than mine. Very fast. I do like that charging started. It's silly, but it just gives me peace of mind.
I usually turn it off.
I forgot to start that timer, but
It's a few seconds.
add 20 seconds. And let's see what happens. So the beginning is when I should have my edge in this race.
Ooh, I'm only seeing 33 right now.
33, dang. Although I found this app to be a bit slow to update sometimes. The car is showing 72, 73, it's ramping up. Mine
Okay, yeah, it is.
So mine's at 232 now.
94.
So 100. So we're already faster than the previous gen, which pretty much maxed out at what, 97?
Yeah, it was like 97 to 99.
Okay, yeah.
120.
Really curious to see what your peak is.
All right, it looks like it's stabilizing.
Right around 120.
122.
122, yeah.
Yeah, the Tesla app is showing that now.
Okay, cool. So mine is now at 233. So this is my best chance to get a head start. And we're running no climate right now, right? Yeah.
No climate.
Bitter, sucking in the cold. So I am still over 200. I'm trying to remember when my charge curve drops below 120, but I was originally thinking yours would do someone said yours would do 135, but I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe that's a V4? Like, I don't know
Maybe it depends on temperature. I don't know.
But well, I guess as your voltage climbs a little bit, you should
Right, it should go up.
Yeah, so you're at almost 130 now.
Yeah, my battery voltage right now is only 702.
Okay.
But it's saying 31 minutes to 80%. Do you have that number?
I have 25 minutes, but sometimes mine's optimistic.
Okay, well,
So-
we'll see who's Who's better at that, the
This will be
Americans or
interesting.
the Koreans?
I don't think our cars will overheat in this weather, but we'll see.
I hope not.
All right, so I just hit 25% and already dropped below 200 kilowatts.
Wow.
So I do not have the charging curve. Yours does, at least when you're at one of your optimized chargers.
Yeah.
But mine still says 25 minutes. I forgot Tesla has the 5-minute increment thing.
Really?
So it doesn't say 27 minutes or 22.
Okay.
It's just rounding to the nearest 5.
Interesting.
Or it might not even be the nearest 5. It might be like when it dips below 30, it might say 25 at that point, even though it's 29. It's kind of a weird logic, and it's not always accurate. Maybe that's why they don't do that, because they don't want to like set people's expectations incorrectly.
Right.
So now I'm below 190. It's just really walking itself down now.
I'm still holding 123.
Okay. I'm
But-
curious if the voltage gets up to one point where you can do 125.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is interesting.
Well, the car is currently taking in 125.
Okay.
Obviously, the battery management system's using a little bit.
Yeah. This is
But-
so weird sitting on a supercharger, seeing you next to me.
I mean, you could have theoretically seen another Ioniq 5 here with the Magic Dock.
Right, the Magic Dock throws it off, yeah. I've already dropped below 180.
Wow, that is so quick.
Yep, I am at 30% though. So it's,
I'm at 22.
that initial energy really helped. But dude, if you pass me, that's proof of the curve thing. Everyone likes to boast that, oh, my Tesla takes 250.
Right.
But like, if a really good charging car charges half as fast as it can on a supercharger, but still has a good curve, that may be the winner. That's wild. So only 7 minutes in, I've already dropped to about 150 kilowatts.
Whoa.
So
This is looking good.
you are feeling pretty great right now.
I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, does it usually drop below 100 when you get up to 80? You must...
Oh, I think it drops below 100 around 50%.
Whoa.
So I really think the last like 20% is when you're absolutely gonna walk me.
Okay. Interesting.
All right, now at 38%, I just dropped below 150. So your car is just laughing right now.
It's just going strong.
When in Rome, as they say. I swear, if Corbin's passed me in charging after I walk inside for 4 minutes, come on, Tesla. Okay, I walked inside for exactly 5 minutes, and I am already down to below 100 kilowatts,
Whoa.
and I'm at 56%. Where are you at?
I am still at 122, 46%, showing 16 minutes remaining.
Wow, mine is showing 14 minutes remaining.
Me
This is more of a race than I ever expected.
Me too. Wow.
And it's just because Tesla's charging curve is so mediocre. So we are pretty much exactly 15 minutes into this. And yeah, we still got some time to go, but it's not the worst.
No.
But like, it's amazing to think how, 15 minutes in, if you had plugged in at 10% at an EA,
Be close to being done.
you'd be almost done. That's crazy. This is,
I was thinking the other day, like, there's instances where I'm going to want to stop somewhere like Buc-ee's,
Yeah.
go in and maybe have a hot meal or something. Maybe I don't really want to charge in 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to charge in 30 minutes and have a few extra minutes to mess around.
I do wish there was a tiered pricing option
That's a
at,
good
at a
idea.
charger. Like if you walked up to a 350, let's say there are plenty of chargers,
Yeah.
so you're not worried about blocking someone. But you're like, you know what? I don't want to charge at 350 at 56 cents a kilowatt hour.
Right.
Let me charge at 35 cents a kilowatt hour at 100 kilowatts.
That's a really good idea. I've never heard that before.
That'd be awesome. I like when I show up, I mean, especially over in Europe, I've been to a few places that have like 35 kilowatt DC fast charging.
Yeah.
Those are great for sitting in a coffee shop for like an hour.
Right.
And then
Doing
you
some
have
work.
like a half a battery.
Right. Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, I figured you would start catching me. I mean, this will be interesting. I'm still at almost 100 kilowatts, about 90 now. So, but you're just holding strong.
Wait, I stopped charging.
What?
I stopped charging.
Whoa. What?
Oh man, this is turning into an exciting video. What the heck happened here?
What's the Tesla app say?
Oh my goodness.
Because we were saying something.
And I didn't touch anything.
Yeah, no, you have no charging limit set. I mean, you can't even set one that low, I don't think.
No. To complete the session and avoid idle fees, unplug and move your vehicle.
Do you want to start again? I'll replug you in.
Sure.
Okay, I have it unplugged.
Okay. Plug her in.
Okay.
That is bizarre.
That's wild. I wonder why it's just randomly stopped.
American made Ioniq 5. Showing strong.
Right.
It's starting up.
Charging started. So we can mentally note you lost about 20 seconds there.
At least.
Which is not bad. You're already, ramping back up.
Ramping up, but...
So we could almost say a minute there. I don't know. I have a timestamp because I kept recording.
Right, probably.
That's
Come on, girl.
really strange. Huh. Imagine if it was secretly Tesla, like kicking non-Teslas off after 15 minutes. All right, I've got, I'm already down to 82 kilowatts.
Well, I'm about to match that. There's 75.
Okay, I'm up to 62%.
48.
18 minutes in, 48.
But I'm going right back up to...
Yeah, you're ramping right back up to 120. It is a slow ramp. That's it.
Yeah, it is very slow.
Mine does ramp up to my peak within like 10 seconds.
Does it?
Which is wild, but you're already back up to...
122.5.
Yeah, you can see on the dash there. Dang, okay. Well, now it is really the cat and mouse. Because you have to go 30 more percent. I have to go 17%. But by the time we get to 80, you'll be charging almost 3 times my speed. So
pretty significant.
This is a really interesting graph situation.
That'd be a bad showing for Tesla if I beat you after what just happened there.
Right, yeah, after a whole extra minute. So I think if mine wins, I'm just gonna let yours keep going and see how much longer it takes. Yeah. But that's really the tell.
Right.
Wow. After reviewing the footage on the Play, we found that his car stopped charging exactly 2 minutes before we got it recharging again, plus the ramping back up situation. So we could probably say about 2.5 minutes is roughly a fair assessment. I'm already down to 70 kilowatts.
Still 123.
That's crazy. So if mine wins, he has a 2.5 minute buffer beyond that. But it'd be crazy if you win, despite the 2.5 minutes. That would be mind-blowing. But I don't know. I'm still creeping up, and I don't have too much further to go.
What's your SOC now?
I'm 66. What are you at?
55.
Oh.
It feels like it's shrinking.
The gap is shrinking, down to about 10% now. This is terrifying. So, speaking of pricing, what is the pricing situation of... Like, I'm trying to think of the reasons why an Ioniq 5 would go to a Tesla Supercharger at the moment.
I haven't done a ton of research, but I did read an article recently that said Tesla was lowering their prices across all superchargers. Is that true?
I think so, yeah.
And they're usually what, like in the high 20s, low 30s?
A lot of ones I've hit lately have been high 30s.
Okay, high 30s, but that's still, like EA is usually what, 50s?
56, yeah. So actually it's high 30s at peak pricing, but if you avoid peak, like surge pricing, it's usually high 20s on the ones I've been to most.
Right. So, I mean, if you don't mind charging a little bit slower, you could definitely save some money.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not conditioning the battery and using roughly 5 kilowatt hours of energy to warm it.
Right.
Because you don't need a fully warm battery to pull 123 kilowatts.
So that's the other...
Presumably.
Yeah, that's the other thing to consider is that, for me to have any chance in this test, I had to... I mean, you saw me driving around waiting for it to precondition.
Yeah.
Because I needed everything I could get to get the full 250 kilowatts at plug-in. I say at plug-in because it's not really much past plug-in where I keep it. Whereas, you're right, you're getting half your peak speed at a supercharger. Yeah. And so you probably don't need, you don't want a cold battery because you do 30 kilowatts, but you don't need the full optimal preconditioning, which could save time. Because let's say, a lot of people do like maybe wake up in the morning and they're like, oh, I forgot to charge overnight, or I don't have home charging, and you might want to charge on the way to the office. If you don't have a 30-minute drive to warm up the battery, this could be beneficial.
Could be the move.
So you just hit 60%.
Yep.
Still same kilowatts. I don't even know why I ask you what your charging speed is. I've got 70% and I'm doing 65 kilowatts.
Less than half.
So that math is literally, you have 20% to go, I have 10% to go, but you're charging at about twice as fast as me.
It's going to be down to the wire.
This is down to the wire. All right, we are up almost at 30 minutes into this. I just hit 77%.
I'm at 74% with 3 minutes remaining, but my charging speed did dip down to 111 kilowatts. So I lost a little bit of that oomph that I had there.
What if I said you're still charging twice as fast as me? I'm down to 55 kilowatts.
Okay.
So I'm at 78. It said 3 minutes, now it says 2 minutes remaining. Dang, so it's down to the wire, but it's only because yours just randomly stopped charging.
Yeah, it's seeming like I probably would beat you.
For no reason. So we just passed 30 minutes because I, again, started the iPad timer slightly late. And so that is crazy to me that on my own charging network, I'm still over 30 minutes, 10 to 80.
Yeah.
And I guess
Isn't
the other
that
thing to consider is, you know, my 70% range, that's 10 to 80, is slightly less energy than yours. So the fact that you are genuinely pretty much keeping up is wild. So you're 76%.
76.
I'm 78. Oh my gosh.
It might be a dead tie
It's so close.
with me really actually winning.
Right, and you're still at 111 kilowatts. All right, I'm gonna keep an eye on mine. I do think I'm gonna win, but not technically.
Not by 2.5 minutes.
Not by the technical adjustment. Come on, baby.
Let's go to 100 after this.
Right? $52 kilowatts right now.
110.
Jeez.
78%.
I'm still at 79. Dude.
Let's go, girl. Let's go.
Oh, I just hit charging complete.
3140.
So yeah.
I'm still saying 2 minutes.
Oh, this will be really interesting. I started a lap timer, so we'll see how much
Okay.
longer yours takes, and
Yeah,
then we do the math at the end.
I am down below 100 now, 94.5.
Okay, so it does drop off just a bit,
Yeah.
but you're at 79%. Wow. Still, that is wild.
Yeah, I was.
And
I mean, I knew on paper that it was going to be this close, but just seeing it in the real world,
right.
is
Didn't
different.
Hyundai quote about 30 minutes?
I think they said 29.
Okay.
They had documentation that said 30 and then some that said 29.
Okay. Because you're basically seconds away from 30.
80%.
Wow. All right.
32,
So you hit 80% 1 minute after I did, but you had 2.5 minutes, we'll say 2 minutes of stopping time plus the ramp up.
Yep. So
That is totally
I win.
insane. Oh my God. Congratulations
how does it feel?
to lose on my own
With
home field.
in a kinked cord at that.
What if that's why it stopped? That's crazy. Okay, so that's crazy to me,
We win.
but impressive, honestly. For everyone saying, oh my gosh, don't go plug an eGMP car in Tesla, it's super slow. I mean, this just talks about charging curve as the main focus here.
It's unfortunate that they can't change the previous made Ioniq 5s and 6 to get this new charging curve. They're all stuck at 100 kilowatts or less. So that really kind of stinks.
Right. And even that wouldn't make the craziest difference, but it still is nice that you can get 120. That's not a great speed, but like people just seem to hyper focus on this. Oh, I need a car that charges at 300 kilowatts. But like, I mean, we've charged Lucids a lot. They peak and then they drop like crazy. And by the time they hit 50%, they're kind of like a Tesla where it's just like not very impressive.
Unless you're driving a Silverado EV or a Hummer EV. I mean,
Right.
You might want 300 kilowatts.
Then you do because of the giant battery. But nicely done. That's a fascinating test.
Yeah.
As soon as it popped in my head, I knew we had to do it. And now we're going to go film more Ioniq stuff. Woo. Now that I've reviewed the footage on the Play, I have some comments. So, to back up, I actually set the timer 18 seconds late. So, I've accounted for that in all the measurements. And the Ioniq 5 had stopped charging for exactly 2 minutes. So I've also accounted for that. But all that to say is that this was fascinating. Yes, we were both fully preconditioned according to the cars. And yes, the Ioniq 5 won, despite my home court advantage in the Model 3. 31 minutes and 53 seconds was the time for the Model 3, delivering a little over 55 kilowatt hours. That's not great for a 10 to 80, especially on your home court, your own built-in charging infrastructure. 250 kilowatt peak charging, fine, but it doesn't hold it very long. And by the end of the test, the Ioniq 5 was pulling over double the kilowatts that I was pulling in the Model 3. Wild. 30 minutes and 37 seconds was the time for the Ioniq 5, delivering over 59 kilowatt hours. And that's not even accounting for the slow ramp up to its peak charge of 123 kilowatts after restarting the charging session after it randomly quit. We still have no idea why it quit, by the way. Total mystery. But to defend my honor, I have to point out that the energy delivered was more in the Ioniq 5 by a little bit, and it did finish about a minute and a half sooner. But the actual mileage delivered, driving miles, was quite a bit more in the Model 3. It is just a noticeably more efficient car. Our highway range test was 385 miles with this car at 70 miles an hour. The Ioniq 5 we haven't tested yet. We're hoping to soon, but I would venture to guess around close to 300, probably less than 300. This one's rated for 269 or something like that, so I would guess maybe 100 miles less range, which is pretty wild to think about. Efficiency. It's a beautiful thing. So, looking forward to testing more of the Ioniq 5. I'm glad it has a bigger battery. I'm glad it has improved charging on EA, but also over on Tesla Superchargers. And the NACS port is interesting. A lot of people are deliberating and debating whether that is actually useful right now. But we are in that weird phase where it's like Apple back in 2016, where they went USB-C on all the computers. And then everyone's like, oh, I have to have a dongle and adapter and all these things. We're kind of in that phase with electric cars as we approach the NACS. So, let us think what you think of this interesting test. I thought it was really fun, and we really genuinely didn't know what was going to happen. Now we know what happened. I'm curious if it's fully repeatable, but everything was truly optimized in every measurable way. And we had the timer, we had all the data necessary to really keep track of everything. And yeah, I'm blown away. Tesla, fix your charging curves. God.